and that's where we can see the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see the comments. So I'll read the comments and we'll just go. How long have you been diabetic, Mark?
I was diagnosed, right, where'd you go? I was diagnosed 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, so fairly recently then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's a change for sure.
You guys are live.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you're going to get headphones, Mark?
I don't need them. Not now. I got them.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they brought them to me, but
There might be an echo. That's the only reason you might need them.
Okay, well, if there is, I will get one.
Awesome. Okay. So we are live. So hello.
Hello.
It's nice to finally get you on here. So we can now share it in the groups. So we will get sharing. We'll get some people on here. This is a different way of doing it. So, oh, there we go. We've got comments. So Ben's on there. So good morning, good afternoon, people. All right. Tim's here. So we've got a few people.
Sorry for the trouble, but, you know, with being a phone company, you guys are all used to having struggles.
It's all good. I'm just glad we got it figured out. So we'll just carry on. So you go ahead and introduce yourself so you let everybody know who you are and where you're from and what you do.
Well, I'm Mark Gordos. I am from Tampa, Florida area, mainly Newport Richey currently. And I'm the owner of On the Mark Spray Foam Insulation. I was an applicator for about 17 years. And after talking a lot with people on spray foam worldwide, I decided, you know, why not give it a shot? And I kind of jumped out into the business world, little unprepared, but I had a lot of good people behind me, and we're strong today, so we're happy.
Great. So I guess somebody said there is an echo, so if you want to throw your headphones on, then that'll help stop that. But hey, Chris Benavides, how are you? I never know if I'm pronouncing your name right, Chris. Sorry. Hi, Robert. I'm glad you guys came back. Thank you for sticking it out. And thank you, Mike Surqua, for getting us set up. Now, those are headphones.
Yeah, they're gamer headphones.
Nice. Very nice.
I got to get the rest of them to work.
Perfect.
Hey, Dylan, how do I make these work?
I can hear you still.
Well, yeah, but I can't hear
nothing.
You
can't hear me.
Like nothing plugged in. Dylan! No, that's not working. Come here. Wait. Mic inlet on ear. Which device did you plug in? What did I plug in? Mic in or line in? Headphones and headset, right? Yeah.
All right. Oh, Ben is saying Call of Duty. Can you hear me yet?
I cannot hear him yet. Which one, Dill? Help me out.
I don't know. I have a...
What do you mean?
There's 2 jacks on my computer. So I have a split cord, so it works on my computer. You only have 1 jack.
What? This only has 1 plug.
Yeah. Your laptop doesn't have 2 holes for it. It doesn't have a microphone and a headset hole.
Well, one of you guys need to figure this out for me.
I don't know.
It's all good.
Weren't you just doing it?
Is there still an echo?
I think there is, yeah.
Wait, let me hit the OK button. Maybe that'll do it. Wait, now I can hear somebody.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you now through the headphones.
Okay.
Still an echo?
They'll have to let us know. I'll watch the comments and see.
Okay.
But anyways, we will carry on. So you reached out to me and wanted to come on, and I was very excited to have you come on. We've known each other before, I guess before Spray Foam Worldwide.
Yeah, we knew each other. You were actually sold me my first vacuum.
Yes, I did.
Which helped me build up the capital for me to make my final leap into being an independent company.
Yes, you came up with the best tagline. I still think that tagline should be used. I don't know if we can use that in today's day and age, but then we could use it.
Yeah, no, yeah. then we got away with it. It was pretty funny, but
it was very funny. I used it a lot, actually. It was so hilarious. But
there was a great guy running that company at that time, and unfortunately he passed shortly after that, and they just went to crap after that. So
yeah, kind of went to hell in a handbasket after that, for sure. Yeah. But yeah, no, so it's been probably what, 5 years, I guess, was that ago?
Just about 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, 4.5, 5 years.
So you started. So I guess let's start from the beginning. How did you get into the industry?
Totally by accident. I was going to school in Wisconsin, taking care of my mom who was terminally ill. So I was driving cab part-time. My mother had passed away, and I went back to Ohio to visit, and one of my best friends, who I introduced to her first husband, was divorced. And she's like, well, I'm coming back with you. I'm like, all right, come back with me and visit, and she never left. We've been together 21 years now. So she was very jealous type and did not like for me to drive cab because I'm kind of social sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And she just, being jealous, she always wanted to ride with me. My boss was like, Mark, you can't do that. She's insurances, we can't have
yes.
Paying passengers only.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of stuck, how do I make her happy versus how do I do this? So I went and said, screw it, I'll go get a job. Around, found one place. I was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. There was a place called Citywide Insulation in De Pere, Wisconsin. And they were willing to hire me. They started me out at $10.50 an hour. I was there for 9 months. They bumped me up to like 13. I'm like, you know what? And back then in the 90s, that was a survivable wage. Yeah. They had insurance, they had everything. That most of my family had passed away, and it was really just me out in the world. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, I told her, hey, you need to make me a baby. And she's like, no, I already got two. You ain't getting one. I'm like, well, I want a child. And she's like, okay, I'll give you one. And so I was like, okay, I got benefits, got everything I need. And then once she got pregnant, she decided that we need to move to Florida. So we moved to Florida, and I'm like, well, yeah, I can do this business anywhere in the country, so let's go. Went to Florida and learned about piece rate. And I went from making $32,000 a year to making $70,000 a year, and I was only 22 years old. So I'm like, hey, I can do this, It's just physical labor, and I'll move into sales and move up the ladder down the line. But my first boss kind of saved me. We were in a desperate situation, and we had to move immediately. And he gave me the money, and when he did, I try to be a very grateful person for people to help. So I told him, I'm like, hey, how long are you going to be in this seat? He's like, 10 years, and then I'm probably going to sell the company. I'm like, hey, yeah, I'm yours for 10 years, whatever you need, wherever you need me. So I acted as a production manager for a while, got a spray foam department. Helped get his spray foam department going. Ended up getting one of my brother-in-laws to lead that road. He was very mechanically inclined. I was running multiple crews, doing bats and things like that, and doing spray foam on the side as well. And then, when he sold the company, I moved on. Worked with another company, which gave me the ability to, which was actually working with the weatherization program. So I was able to go to school, got the Department of Energy to pay for me to go get my additional weatherization auditor, my BPI certification. But I got the Department of Energy to pay for everything.
Wow.
So yeah, it was nice. And then my additional accreditations, because I had begun pursuing my HERS rater, and I became a level 3 HERS rater on my own, and I was going to do independent third-party testing. But I really was chasing pennies, and I wasn't making the money I wanted to make.
Right.
So that died out, and so I went to work for True Team, the largest company in the world, Figured, I'll climb their corporate ladder. But then they went through 5 division managers while I was there, so I was constantly re-interviewing. A new guy comes in, he thinks, oh, you need to stay there. And it's like, no, dude, you don't understand. I got a lot of behind me, a lot of experience. I came here to move forward, not to stay. If you can't help me out, well, I'll move on. But to keep me in this spot. And then finally, the pieces fell together. A friend of mine that I had helped out, I gave him the blown-in contract for the state, over 700 homes in 2012. I pretty much just hand-delivered him the contract. You know, took a little sales commission for a couple months, and then, hey, buddy, go, have at it. I even bought his material so he could get rolling.
Yeah.
And he was a partner from, or a co-worker from the previous company. And he had bought a rig and couldn't run it for nothing. And he's like, Mark, I really need your help. So I went out and helped him a little bit and came up with the plan. Hey, man, you're not really busy on foam. I got like a bunch of builders that will follow me anywhere. They already followed me from one company to another company. How would I tell them I'm on my own and, you know, run a company through your name until I'm ready to make that leap? Because being with the team, no compete, I can't have my own license and things out there. So I ran things through his company, kind of test the waters because I was scared.
Yep.
And then finally, I just said, F it. I had $4,000 in my name. I had a really nice contract. I ran up to the builder. I'm like, hey, we can start today. You got to give me my deposit. He gave me an $8,000 deposit. We started hanging foil. I had some guys hanging foil for me. I ran, bought the material with my buddy's rig, gave him $500 for his rig, and now we got a blow crew, we got a blow truck, a bat truck, we got our one own foam truck, but we also still have his foam truck at our disposal from time to time if we really need it.
Good for you. That's really awesome.
We might see some. I'll probably be just shy of what I was hoping, but we're going to see some amazing numbers this year. So.
That is really awesome because I remember
life-changing numbers.
Like that. I mean, 5 years ago, you were just kind of, you know, getting
just installing. Yeah.
Wow, that is impressive. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing I think people like. I appreciate the most is you guys that have, you know, you like you're saying you had $4,000 to your name, and yet you're now like look where you are now.
Oh, yeah, I got a house on the water. I mean,
yeah, you got a house. I forgot that.
It's like SeaWorld out there. Sometimes the dolphins jump 15, 20 feet up in the air, and then a man swim by. Yeah, no, it's real cool.
Nice. Yes, I remember that. You guys, when did you get your house?
We got this house in August.
Of this year?
Yes, of this year. Yep.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, we're very excited.
Yeah.
A lot more room.
Yeah.
And then the water beat that. My morning meditations are way better now.
I bet they are. So is that what you start your day off with, you do some meditation?
Absolutely, yeah. Every morning, I wake up around 5:15 and I sit and have coffee on the back porch and just kind of set my mind at ease and try to put everything out of my mind. I don't think about my schedule. I don't think about anything. I just get myself centered. And, probably about a half hour after that, I start to break into, okay, where's my schedule? What changes do I need to make? Who texted me? Who's not coming in today? What's what? And then I get my kids to school and meet the guys at the shop.
Right. I think that's very, very, very important that you actually take that time before the world gets at you, before people get at you, before your day starts to take that time and just center yourself.
Oh, yeah. Well, I used to be kind of a little bit emotionally unstrung, and I started using that strategies to find self-improvement and ways to make myself a little bit better, because I was making rash decisions or saying the wrong thing, and I felt like it all started in your morning. I used to jump out of bed, throw clothes on, go to work. That's how I did it. And it wasn't working for me, and I talking to my mentor and Tom Daniels, he used to say, oh no, I get up, I go for a walk in the morning, I do these things, and a few other successful people, I spoke with them, and all of them have the same ritual. They don't wake up and just rush out. They wake up, they actually have a morning, maybe have breakfast. So I learned to, those hours are important, that early moment's important to get your head right.
Right, so when did you... Like you have a mentor, you said. So how did you determine that you needed to have a mentor? Because I also think that's a very key thing to have.
Well, I have a mini mentors.
Yeah.
But it was just it's kind of just happened. Tom was he was always willing to help you out, and he didn't mind helping you grow and develop as a person. So I just capitalized on that through the years, maintaining my commitment to him. So I just learned everything that I saw him doing. And then when he sold the company, it went corporate, and then everything he was doing went away. Everything that he was bringing to the community went away. And then when I went out on my own, I'm like, I'm going to mimic what he did.
Right.
Bring back that personalized service. We're going to take care of customers. We're going to focus on quality over quantity. I'm not chasing the big builders down. I do have a number of custom builders.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I came up with a good marketing plan with Jack Romer. It's got my phones blowing up like crazy, so I had to hire somebody just to take phone calls. Now he handles all my administrative stuff, so I can focus on sales and installs with the guys.
Right.
So that we can, get jobs done.
So how many people are on your team? How big is your company?
Well,
now?
we just had two good guys leave us to further their career in different areas. So right now there is me, there is Kevin, there is JR, my son, Derek, my office manager, my wife, and my daughter. So there's 8 of us total.
So your kids are involved and your wife too?
Yes. Yeah.
And how does that run? Like, you guys do good for the most part? That can be tricky dynamic.
So my wife has zero involvement in the company other than she's part owner and she gets a check.
There you go.
Other than that, she doesn't in her mind with anything. But my wife's disabled, and we were battling some disability issues. So the best. They were like, so she hasn't worked in 10 years, she can't get disability. So it's like, well, now I can hire her. So now she's into the system again, and then she can revisit the disability later.
Oh, got it.
And then my youngest son, he works on a weekend part-time here and there. My oldest son, he runs my bat and blow crew. And then my daughter does all she's my Chad. She does all my estimates, all my plan work. I taught her how to do an OST, a takeoff off of my software. So she'll do all my measurements. So that way because I used to have to come home, I would spend the next 4 hours doing plans because I got tons of plans that come across my table. And I just wasn't able to keep up. So she started taking those for me. So now I come home, I have a nice list. I'll have a list of jobs and their measurements. Mm-hmm. So all I got to do is compute the measurements into the system. For a while I was double checking her, but she's on point. My daughter has an amazing mind. She's an extremely high IQ. She's studying to be a biologist right now. So this was a way. And she's cheaper than Chad. So she does my measurements, and she makes some extra money. She's happy to help me, and she kind of has a good sense of things, so I kind of bounce everything off of her as opposed to my wife. My wife I do get some ideas from, but my daughter seems to be the biggest influence in the company. When I come home, how was the day? Who messed what up? Who did what? Who are you firing? But it's worked well. It's worked well.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So what would you say would be some of the biggest lessons you've learned so far in going from being a sprayer into being an owner? What are some of the lessons?
As a sprayer, I was extremely impatient because I was piece rate. It was get it done, get it, go, go, go. Almost to the point that if a homeowner wanted to chat, if I didn't click with them right away, I would tend to blow them off and be a little bit rude. And then, so I've learned to be more patient and less talk, more listening. Has paid off. So I'm not constantly delivering my opinion anymore. I will allow people to talk, say their piece, do their thing, and then I'll just make my actions reflect my expression.
Right. And so taking that leap from contractor to business owner and having a team.
Yeah.
That is a whole different role. So,
oh, it's tough. Managing employees is, oh, wow. Because you get guys, they're prima donnas, or, they think they know everything, but second something goes wrong, it's my fault because I didn't. It's like, well, I thought you knew what you were doing. We're in a great spot right now. So I just roll with it. I've had to go through, make some personnel changes, but I need the people that we're a small company. We need people who want to be a part of something that's growing.
Right.
You can't expect or have a big company mentality in this type of setting. If you do, you're going to put me under. I mean, I started with $4,000. How much money do you think I've saved? I dumped everything back into the company. So I take a very small portion to survive, just to pay my bills, and then every penny goes back into the company. We now offer 401k. We have health benefits. So I can offer and encourage positive and good people to come into the company. So that's been a great bonus. It was actually a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to cost me. Now people take care of their families. I think that's an important thing to be able to offer to your employees. Just getting guys to follow the suit and take the time. Some jobs you can rush through. It's an easy job. You just got to cover the windows and go. Other jobs you need to be patient. You need to take your time. So you got to be able to change your expectations and your daily task to accommodate the customer, because at the end of the day, that word of mouth is going to be more important to us than any marketing I do, any advertising, anything I do. That word is the most important. So we have to, be patient, hold our tongues, present a good product, and follow through with what we say we'll do.
Right, because I think a lot of people see, people new starting out kind of in the industry, they see the owners as like, that's such an easy job, and, you're running the show and all that, and they don't understand what goes on in running that company.
I have a new respect for business owners.
Right.
Be that asshole prima donna. And now, I have already apologized to every business owner I've ever worked with. I'm sorry I was so difficult. I didn't understand.
Right.
It's a lot of stress, You tell them something and you think, oh, you should have that by the end of the week. But, oh, wait, they forgot. But they also have 80 other things they're trying to deal with. So I could be talking to my installers. They say, hey, man, we need some gloves. Okay, great. And then my phone rings, and then this happens, and this happens. And then I forgot to get gloves. So, we'll run to Home Depot, go grab some gloves. So I try to keep petty cash available for my guys for the emergency situations that I fail to meet. But we have a new software program that we're working with, an estimating program, that allows us to keep a better inventory, and it allows my office manager to see what we're low on inventory and remind me to either order it or he can order it for us.
Right.
He's been the biggest asset to the company and our growth has been my office manager.
Right, and I think it's important that you have, it used to be the mentality was the boss, like the one that was running the company and owned the company was the boss, which you are the boss. But it's showing that leadership. It's a different way to do it because you're leading your team. And if you're going to have a successful team, you've got to hire your weaknesses to make that, them fill in those gaps. And weakness is not meaning like you can't do it, but it's like not a strength. Like some people are good at multitasking and some people are not. You need those people on your team that can fill in for those spots that aren't like your strength. Yeah,
well, even if I'm good at it, it's a matter of where is my time best served.
Right.
So, and there's no way, this is all about a team effort. There's no way I could accomplish this by myself. Granted, if I wanted to stay small, and that was my dream, just to have a rig on my own and go do my own thing, I could eat well and survive well. But my goal and dream is to build a company. I want to see in 10, 15 years trucks with my name on them driving down the road.
Right.
Even if I don't own it anymore, or even if I'm a silent and I have it independent running on its own. Well, I would love to see that. I think it would be an amazing feeling. I've always known I've had the potential to do something like that. So It's nice that I feel like we're on the road, even with all the challenges, because every day is a challenge.
Yeah, there's something new always shows up in the day, doesn't it?
Oh, always. It's always
You can
something.
try to be prepared, but that doesn't always, you know what? Can't be prepared for everything.
Oh, no. I'm a blink away from being wiped off the map at any time. So I try to live like that and prepare myself for those things and try to plan ahead and have other things in place that we can count on and other forms of income, so that if something does take a dive or a dip, we can survive it and get through and make it to the next stage.
Right. Do you travel quite a distance, or do you stay pretty close to where you live?
We try to stay 60 miles from where our shop,
okay.
which is not far. But in Tampa, 60 miles can be 2.5 hours.
Right.
Because of traffic. So but our market is there's so much work out here. It's insane. If you're not getting work out here, you're doing something wrong. There is so much work out here right now.
Yeah.
And I anticipate it to continue for at least the next 2 years. Really depends on how the election goes. But I'm sure if the wrong people win, we'll have another bubble pop, and that will hurt us. But, I want that bubble to keep growing to allow me to develop more security, so that I could survive that downtrend a little bit better. Because that's what's going to define us, is our ability to survive that.
Right. Are you going to SPFA this year?
Yes.
You are?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
I'm only gonna be there for 3 days, because it kind of falls into Valentine's Day. And
Yes.
my son's birthday's on Valentine's Day, and then my wife, so I'm not gonna miss that part. So I'll be there for the Spray Foam Worldwide party. And
Nice.
that's my main reason. That's the whole reason. I won some free miles on the airline, so I'll just use those. But I'm also going to La Pola next weekend in Houston.
Oh, very good. Yeah, that is coming up, isn't it? I forgot that that's like, my time frame seems to the days go by so fast. I'm like, is that already next week?
It's a blur. Time flies by. It's insane how fast it goes. I was hoping to have this from a job site, but unfortunately they didn't pass their framing inspection, so they got pushed. So
There you go.
at the same time, I'm very grateful because this week I've been helping the guys out a lot spraying, and this new guy I got from Texas, Kevin Farley, has just proven himself to be so amazing. As far as being a tech and things of that nature, he's mechanically inclined. He doesn't understand envelope yet and things like that, but he's already going to be one of our top guys. I can see it now, and he's all about helping us out. So. And
you brought him into Worldwide, so he's going to learn a lot.
Oh, yeah. Just brought him in.
So that will be my next question. How did you discover Spray Foam Worldwide?
Just Google our Facebook searching. I was looking for spray foam groups, and I found them. And then they were still relatively new, a year in, almost a little less than a year in, I think. Yeah, just before a year in, because I just missed the first. Sure, I wasn't a participant enough. But then the second year of Spray Foam Worldwide, I was a lot more active and involved because I had a lot more free time waiting for equipment to warm up, do this, do that. So I was very active, very involved. And then when I went out on my own, I'm not as active, but I still watch and pay attention and click like a lot. So, but I also, now that I've developed a lot of friendships with like Rusty Schrader, Greg Curry, Mike Circa, Josh Butner, so these guys we all had a house at the SPFA in Daytona. So we've continued that relationship and that group of us, even Robert Cockle. And we kind of really support each other and bounce ideas off each other. Greg is kind of like the dad. He's constant. He's the most experienced out of all of us and has been a part of the most successful company. And he kind of, tells Rusty, get out of your own way, dude. What are you doing? And Greg has offered to be there for me. I've sent guys over to help Greg because he's on the other side of the coast. So it's great knowing that Greg, literally, I had a rig hit a telephone pole, and he was like, I'll send you a crew and a truck. It's on its way.
Wow.
I'm only going to be down for a day. They're going to get it fixed right away. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it that. But to have that at my disposal, somebody who's going to help me like that is invaluable. You can't put a price on that. And the guy didn't even know me at the time.
Wow.
So I've returned the favor as best I can, and the Jason Forstons and just this whole strip, Charles King. We've all tried to help each other out, either be it on the phone talking to each other, but we don't compete against each other. It's funny because we're all outside of each other's market, and we're real good friends. Because
yeah, that's the thing that's interesting. Like, I think that's what's changed so much in the industry is you guys have all been able to just form those relationships and be there to help each other if you need it.
Yeah, no, it's huge. It really has. It's saved us. And then it's the guys who are local. I used to provide tech support, even though I worked for another company. There was a local company here I used to help all the time and help the applicators when they asked for it, because they didn't want to publicly put it on Spray Foam Worldwide because then their boss would see it. So they would talk to me directly, and I'd help anybody. Honestly, I believe, a rising tide raises all ships. We want everybody in this area, in my opinion, is to do well, to do a good product, because that's only going to improve our industry. I don't want the guy next to me doing a bad product or doing bad work, because if they're doing bad work, they're going to get word of mouth going, which is going to eventually tell somebody I'm going to talk to, and they're going to be like, well, what about this nightmare, this story? So there's things at Spray Foam Worldwide, the videos they've done, I can direct everybody to the myths of spray foam, and all that has been huge to help us.
Yeah, for sure. I think, too, it's anybody, and it was Robert Cockrell that posted it yesterday. It was about when you're talking about the bad jobs and stuff. And he made that comment about, everybody needs to kind of like lighten up on these people, like the new people that are coming in, because everybody was new at one time. Everybody's free,
Everybody's seen my work. Everybody has seen my work over the years. They know I don't spray pretty foam. I've laid some pretty foam, but most of the time it's not pretty, because if you're not on a straight overlap on a consistent basis, it's so easy to get a cramp or to have your hand twist here, or you run into a wire, and that changes everything. And I'm not going to it out. There goes my money. That's my yield, So, well, it's going to be a thick spot there, So you keep going. So as long as you have a thin spot, you're hitting your minimum thickness, you're doing a good job. Everything's filled up. That's what the goal is. We have some jobs I charge a better rate, and we go slower, and I'll rip the foam out, but it's in there. So I don't know how some of these guys. I had a guy working for me. He laid some of the prettiest foam, but you had to book what job would take a day. You better give him 2, but that is going to be the prettiest job you ever seen.
You ever saw? Yeah. Michael Foster is saying, thanks, Mark. He said that he's called you a couple of times. You're a great guy. You were going to go out of your way to help. I've called Mark a couple of times. Great guy. Was going to go out of his way to come and help me out. That's Michael Foster.
Yeah, he's with Taylor Foam, the competitor.
Yeah.
So he's a nice guy, but it's I believe his issue was with isoning. He was having an isoning issue, but a lot of people have issues with isoning select. They're new. Oh, best adhesion in the business. It just has no cohesion. So it'll stick to everything except what you need it to stick to.
Right.
But once you learn your temps, it's a workable material. So.
Yeah, I think it's, it is that's what I appreciate too about the group, is just people can go in there and go like, what is going on? Why is this not working? Can you guys help me out? And people come on and just just offer that help, and I think it's awesome.
It made me lazy. Because honestly, I used to be the troubleshooter, the guy that tried to figure everything out. I read every manual. Luckily I like to read, so I read everything, and I'd like to tinker, so I don't mind taking things apart. But when Spray Foam Worldwide came around, I didn't even think. I just typed in even if I knew the answer, I would type in the problem in the beginning just to get, maybe there was something I'm not thinking of, get my answers, and then obviously once I met Wendell Gossett and got his number, now it's just call Wendell, you know.
Right. Yeah. That everybody seems to have that.
Yeah.
His number. Yes.
Yeah.
I would love for. I've been trying to get him. We talked a little bit about him coming on, so I'm hoping in 2020 I get to have him come on.
Well, I've had the pleasure of having like 3 of his rigs over my career. So I will start telling him about a rig, and he'll be like, "Oh, I built that." You know, he'll tell me where and what's going. I'm like, "Wow!" But he's been real amazing. He's been real helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Cole Fletcher as well, man. I've had Cole Fletcher has driven across the state. Even when he didn't work for the same company as me, drove across the state to come help me.
Oh, Bart's saying that Wendell is in the witness protection program. I think he is. Is he really a person? I don't know.
Yeah, he is. He was with Urethane Systems now, but now he's on his own.
Yeah.
So.
I know Cole is a traveling machine too. Oh, there's the water. That is so nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's cold out here, so.
But wow, what a thing you can sit out there every day like that. Sweet.
Oh yeah. Yes, every day. Yeah. So I'm looking at going to buy a motor for the new boat we just got. Just
good.
Little 14-footer, but my 15-year-old is avid about going outside, so he likes to fish, so we're going to get him something so he can get on that water. I'm just right from the Gulf. I'm like 3 minutes.
Wow. That's awesome. So, well, if Cole comes to visit you, you guys can go fishing. And he can he can cook.
Well, he's not too far away from me, and every once, at least twice a year, me and Cole have run into each other, and we make time for each other. I mean, I will buy material from whoever he's working with just so I can make sure he can come see me.
Right.
I mean, he's a great dude, man. He's easy to talk to. He's a real person, you know. It's not like he's, you know, the untouchable corporate people that, you know, you're not comfortable talking to. Cole makes it easy to talk to. He's understanding. He knows the problems that exist. And he knows the answers to help make you a better installer or an applicator.
Yep. No, he is a great guy. I've talked to him myself, and he's super easy to talk to, and just a good solid person for sure. Yeah. What would you say are your biggest takeaways from this industry, the industry as a whole?
The biggest takeaway is the industry is let's see, how do I best answer that? My biggest takeaway from the industry is a couple dollars. I think the most important thing that I found that's a part of this industry is taking pride in the work that you're doing if you want it to be a successful industry. I've seen this industry in this area struggle since 2001, and it came off of a lot of bad installs. There was, even on YouTube, there's a foam nightmare that occurred in Orlando. They had to rip the whole roof off. There was a fire in Canada from one. So the biggest thing is trying to get past those misconceptions, and that's why I stress to I'm not the cheapest. I don't even try to be. If you undercut me, you're going to get the job. I'm not going to fight it. I sell quality. I sell that we will take our time with your job. We try to always complete ahead of schedule, so I always give myself a buffer. You are going to do and deliver a good product. That means we have to stop and clean our screens and do what we got to do. We will. That's all. Another reason why I like Graco. I know a lot of people complain, oh, well, how many errors did you get? Well, yeah, but they told me I was off pressure. You know, I think, you know, even though the machine can be set to allow for 500, if I'm 200 psi, 250, it's a problem. Shut it down, clean the screens, because if you address it immediately, you're going to save so much time. So occasionally, and I train my helpers, look at the gauges, see what it's doing. We even have the apps on our phone. You can check your phone to see what your pressures are doing. If your pressures are off consistently, check them. And I like to use 250 as my marker, which 250, you're still delivering good foam, but something's starting to happen. There is some buildup occurring, and it's usually as minor as cleaning your screen.
Right.
And you can have good foam. Next step is the ratio assurance, to put that on. I'm really interested in the accurate dynamics, but every time I've seen the machine in action, it has a failure. So, and it needs a Graco part to get it through the day. So every single time, it's always needed. But I like the idea of ratio assurance and machines being able to compensate, because an applicator gets this mentality in their brain: I got to get the job done or the boss is going to be mad, or I got to get the job done so I can get a better paycheck and start the next job. And what you should be worried about is, am I delivering a good product? Because foam has to be read constantly the whole time, and sometimes we're spraying blind. I don't know if you've ever pulled the trigger and not been able to see, but you need to take a look at what you did.
Right.
Always look back, and when you see bad foam, yank it out and put good foam in. Don't leave it. Don't cover it up, because I've inspected and fixed so many jobs where there's an ISO shot over here. It's like, why would you leave that there? Yes, pressures went off. Yes, you shot ISO. That's not a bad deal. But cut that piece out. It's not that hard to do. It takes a couple minutes, and make your helper do it. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can keep spraying, send your helper in to do it, but don't leave it. And I just don't understand why people would leave bad foam in a house.
Right. Right. I know the one thing we haven't touched on was safety. We were going to talk about safety and commitment to the industry. So those are the two things we got to talk about yet. So, go ahead.
Safety, I think, is by far the most important thing. Making sure guys are... Fresh air is huge. I don't care who you are. And you do your fit test, but on cartridges, you're going to suffocate yourself, which is going to reduce your stamina. And there's some jobs cartridges are perfect for. They're wide open, plenty of air, and it works well. But fresh air is a must in this industry. Right now, based on how I understand the OSHA regulations, it's still only a recommendation to use fresh air. It's not a requirement. And that's why a lot of guys don't. But fresh air is huge. I know people say, oh, that extra line bothers me, it does this, but that extra line is going to keep you alive. And going to have less effects. Mike likes that idea, I think, maybe.
He's on mute, so nobody else can see him except you.
Oh, okay.
He's in the witness protection program.
Okay. But it's very important. And when you're working at heights, take the steps. My son fell 12 feet. He had all the safety equipment, everything was there, but he didn't put it on. And he fell. Luckily, he was okay. I fell 17 feet at one time in 2001, and I still have a dent in my arm.
Yeah.
Not if you guys can see it, but there's a dent in there. I hit my head and I landed flat on my back, luckily, and I was only out for 9 days.
Wow.
It's no amount of money is worth taking the risk. It's important to be safe. Foam can have effects to you after you've walked away from the job. I know some of us, we've had haze vision, it clears up. But being ISO sensitive, that stays with you forever. Once you are sensitized, it just gets worse and worse. And the more you expose yourself, you could potentially, have effects and problems down the line. So take the time to be safe. Wear your gear, and stay alive. Because once the foam's done, it's inert. But until then, it can hurt somebody. So protect yourself.
Right. Ben wants to know if you consider yourself opinionated.
I am extremely opinionated, but I base my opinion on not just guessing. I've done a lot of my homework, and I pay attention to building science. So sometimes when I express something, I'm not basing my opinion, I'm basing what I've learned.
Right. Building science. So that's the thing. I think it was when Ken was on a 3 weeks ago, we talked more about building science, but that is something that I think should be talked about more.
It absolutely should be.
Yeah.
The way we affect the house. I know a lot of companies, they go in and they'll say, oh, just cut that area off on a retro application. You can't always do that because that retro application in that area was dependent upon that ridge vent. And now you've eliminated the ridge vent or that way of that section of the house from breathing. So if that section of the house may still have soffit ventilation, but it doesn't have an out. So they're going to end up having moisture issues on that side of the house if you close that off. So it's important. That's why every site visit, I crawl, I check it. I'm not like a salesman and just pop my head in. I crawl through the entire attic. I make sure everything is accessible. If there's an area that needs cut off or we can't physically access to, I make sure and I make the homeowners understand you need to have some ventilation over there. If you don't, because right that area is counting on these vents to work. Because as the hot air rises, it's supposed to draw in cooler air. Unfortunately, you're drawing in more humid air. But it's important to have those things in place for conventional insulation. But cutting them off is only going to create a house and make a house sick. And building sickness syndrome is real. People will get sick from a house not being right.
Right. Yes, exactly. So the other thing we were going to touch on was commitment to the industry.
So there's this one guy, got that Marcus Ramsey, and I'm sorry for throwing your name out there, guy, but our approach to this industry has to have in mind what are we going to do to improve it. If you're just in this industry to fill your pocket, you're going to hurt something. You know, there's no quick buck. You know, it's
right.
You gotta care. If you don't care about what's going on, and what your end product is creating, and the results of those products, you're not going to help the industry. We're never going to get that momentum to continue. Right now, we have a great momentum. We're slowly capturing more market shares, even with all the propaganda that the larger pink companies are putting out there.
Right.
We need to be committed to doing our jobs properly. Applicators have to understand it. Quality first. It's I know it's just a paycheck in some people's mind, but if you don't get it done and you don't do it right, you're going to create a nightmare for that homeowner and a nightmare for the guy you work for. And I mean, like I said, I'm just one blip away from being a non-existent. You know, we all are. We could all die tomorrow. You know, we could.
Yeah.
We just had a vehicle accident 2 days ago. Yeah, truck totaled the truck.
Oh goodness! Everybody's okay.
All of my guys are okay. The lady in front of them, a car swerved and went and hit a wall, and that caused everybody to stop. So they hit this other car. That old lady had life flighted out. If it wasn't for Kevin Farley, that lady may have died. He jumped out. He ripped her doors open because they were stuck, ripped her doors open, put a tourniquet on her leg, and gave it time for Bayflight to get out there and save her life. Luckily, the rig was unscathed, other than I need a new hitch tongue. Other than that, she's unscathed. I got through it lucky.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it could have been a game changer because just weeks before that, my crew drove past another company, and they flipped their trailer, and the guardrail pretty much cut the trailer in half, and they took
wow.
You know, and it's a strong company, so they're able to survive it. But still, if that happened to me, you're talking about game over.
Yeah. Like you say, it's you know, and I say this a lot when I do posts. It's if you get another day on the right side of the dirt, it's a good thing.
It
isn't guaranteed. So you always have to be. Yeah, you've got to be kind of in the moment and make sure that you realize that things can change so fast.
Oh yeah, in an instant. So
yeah, for sure.
Plan for the best, you know, and prepare for the worst.
Right. All right. Well, do you have any final words you want to wrap everything up with? There's comments. We'll have to go back and go through them because on this.
I can't see any of them.
Me either. I'm going back and forth, but we'll go back and we'll answer them. But
no.
Is there anything you want to say to wrap everything up?
I just want to say thank you to the group and the guys out there that support me and continue to help me. Without you guys, I would not be where I'm at today. Mike, you've been amazing in your help. Created my logo, which a lot of people like. I get a lot of people that love it. My name, On the Mark, Keith Ibston was one of the ones that came up with that. I did a thing. Hey,
Oh, okay.
the name, that was his recommendation, and
Yeah.
of it, because it fits. Just, keep helping people, guys. Some of us are out there to do it right, and we might help the wrong guys sometimes, but sometimes we're going to help the right guys, and let's make this an industry that takes over. Right? I just landed 101 new construction houses. So to begin,
Wow.
yeah. So
Good for you.
at it. And then I got a 180 unit apartment complex we're doing cellulose on, and I just landed 11-story hotel. So we're gearing up for a very busy slow season.
Yes, you are. That's awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome. Well, I am very glad that you came on. I'm glad we
Yep.
finally got to see each other face to face.
No, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'm fingers crossed I will be seeing you in Pasadena.
Yeah, you absolutely will. You guys be blessed.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much, and we will all see you guys next Saturday. I'm not sure how to shut this off because this is a new way.
We'll let Mike handle that.
Mike, shut us down. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah,
we'll talk
bye.
to you next week. Bye. Are we off? Oh, there we go.